Exist here on the peninsula with Mountain View Homes. Looking for a quality craftsmanship home at 40% less than stick-built? Call Mountain View Homes. We specialize in affordable homes with full-service land packages, dirt to turnkey, quality, beautiful, and an efficient manufactured home on the site of your choice. Mountain View Homes has 3 locations to serve you, including Carlsberg. Visit mtviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
Hi, this is Mike from American Rare Coin and Gold in Squim. Do you have a house project needs doing but lacking the funds? Now is a great time to sell gold, silver, or rare coins. Prices are at an all-time high. We love to buy coin collections, gold and silver jewelry and bullion. We even help with entire estates. You could be sitting on a literal gold mine. Come see me, Mike, at American Rare Coin and Gold in Squim. Call 360-968-4943.
In 1983, Tom and Ida McEwen opened All Weather Heating and Cooling. Their vision for a family-owned and operated business with personalized customer service made them the #1 choice for all your heating and cooling needs. By 2014, it was time to pass down the business, and daughter Janae and her business partner Dustin Halverson purchased All Weather. In preserving Tom and Ida's vision, customer service is still their #1 priority. All Weather Heating and Cooling, because everyone calls us.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 78. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 64. Tonight, clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 78 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Wednesday, with daytime highs approaching 66. 63, slight chance of rain. Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 61 Friday, 63 Saturday, and 63 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 79.
Extending the win streak and piling up more stats. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Shohei Ohtani hitting number 41 on the season, but his homer comes in a Dodgers loss to the Blue Jays 5-4 yesterday. Cal Raleigh jacks number 45. Mariners double up the Rays 6-3. Seattle's 7th straight win. Longest win streak in baseball. That belongs to Milwaukee. Brewers trailed 5-0 to the Mets yesterday, but by the 9th...
2-2. Fly ball to deep right. It is back. Soto back. Out of here! Isaac Collins walks it off against the Mets. You can't make it up.
6:20 WTMJ. Brewers a 7-6 win, their 9th straight victory, longest active streak in Milwaukee's, 2nd longest this season. They had an 11-game run last month. Cardinals beat the Cubs 3-2 in the Sunday night game. Chicago's loss, dropping them 6 behind Milwaukee in the Central. Nats shut out the Giants 8-0 in the loss. Justin Verlander becomes just the 10th pitcher ever to 3,500 strikeouts. A's rally in the 9th to beat Baltimore 3-2. Reds 14-8 over the Pirates. Phillies top the Rangers 4-2. Detroit gets past the Angels 9-5. Twins walk off the Royals 5-3 in 11. Astros a 7-1 win over the Yankees. New York is 2-7 in August. Manager Aaron Boone.
I wholeheartedly believe that we are going to get rolling and turn this thing around, and when it does, then you really start to build that next layer of confidence where guys are kind of feeding off each other. But it's all just talk right now, but that's how I feel about it. We got to go do it.
Yankees with a half-game lead over Cleveland for the 3rd wild-card spot in the American League. Guardians lose to the White Sox yesterday. WNBA Aces beat the Sun. Asia Wilson, 32 points, 20 rebounds. First ever with 30 points and 20 boards. Lynx beat the Liberty in their finals rematch. Minnesota has won 9 of 10.
Now more on the Mariners.
Hauser from the stretch, and the next pitch swung on, belted deep to right field, a line shot, and it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. There's number 45, and Cal Raleigh didn't waste any time after moving by Javi Lopez on the all-time catcher's home run list. He's now tied for 2nd with Johnny Bench. The historical year is getting better and better and better, and it gives the Mariners a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Number 45 in the books for Cal Raleigh. He now has 98 runs batted in, and it's only August the 10th. The storybook year continues for Cal.
Cal Raleigh hitting his major league leading 45th home run to spark a 4-run first inning yesterday. Seattle Mariners beat the Tampa Bay Rays 6-3 Sunday for their 7th straight win and back-to-back sweeps. Josh Naylor also homered as Seattle closed a 9-1 homestand. Starter Brian Wu allowed 3 runs on 7 hits over 6 innings, striking out 9. Raleigh's 2-run shot off Adrian Hauser was followed by a 2-run single from Eugenio Suarez. The Rays cut the lead to 4-3 by the 4th inning, but Naylor's solo homer in the 7th sealed the win. The Mariners are off today. Back with the Seahawks for the first time since 2020, cornerback Shaquille Griffin is embracing a veteran role, a new perspective shaped by 9 NFL seasons and life as a father of 3. 29-year-old Griffin spent his first 4 seasons in Seattle, earning a Pro Bowl nod in 2019 before signing with Jacksonville, later playing for Houston, Carolina, and Minnesota. Now playing under first-year head coach Mike McDonald, Griffin said he appreciates the aggressive defensive scheme and the relatability of a coach just 7 years his senior. Griffin is competing for a role in the secondary and aims to mentor some younger players, passing on lessons learned from former teammate Richard Sherman. Seahawks have their second preseason game coming up later this week.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Gravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Neuson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-bay shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater needs some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care, and we look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Paramount has acquired the exclusive rights to show Ultimate Fighting Championship events over the next 7 years. Paramount will offer UFC's 13 marquee events and 30 additional fight nights on its Paramount Plus streaming service, while also showing select events on CBS starting next year. The company is paying an average of $1.1 billion a year and will explore buying international rights in the future as they become available. Apple's delayed rollout of new Siri capabilities will be well worth the wait if the company can pull it off. That's what Bloomberg tech writer Mark Gurman is reporting, saying that for years users have struggled with Siri, not understanding what they're saying. But Gurman says Apple is working on a feature where you'll be able to do things like tell Siri to find a specific photo, edit it, and send it to someone. It's the start of a busy week for economic data on Wall Street. We get July consumer prices tomorrow, and then on Thursday it's the producer price index and weekly jobless claims. On Friday, retail sales and the University of Michigan Sentiment Index will offer a read on the consumer. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check of the traffic next, brought to you by Angela's Furniture and by McCrory Carpet One.
Sit back and save. You won't be stressing about money with the savings you'll be able to take advantage of at Angela's Furniture on Stressless by Eckerness. Now is your chance to save $500 on their most popular recliner design, the Stressless Wing in all Paloma leather colors. You'll also enjoy special savings on Stressless Oslo, Fiona, and Flora sofa collections in select leathers. Let the experts help you find the perfect stressless piece for you. Right now, only at Angela's Furniture, 1114 East 1st Street.
Sensitive to dust, mold, or allergens? Breathe easier at McCrory Carpet One, thanks to their Healthier Living installation system that features cleaner installation practices. Their HEPA vacuum system removes the old dust, and a Heathenex antimicrobial treatment is used before they install your new floor. If it's new carpeting in your home, they include their hypoallergenic premium cushion that inhibits the growth of mold and mildew. Best of all, there's no extra charge for this healthier install. Only at McCrory Carpet One.
Newsradio KONP. Traffic and roads.
All right, here's a look at your traffic across the region right now. First in Port Angeles, Lincoln Streets between Front and Lordson moving a little slow right now, about a minute off pace there if you're in that stretch. About a 1 minute backup reported on Lincoln from 1st Street to up to 8th Street as well. Traffic light but steady along Highway 101 from Golf Course Road all the way out to Kitchen Dick Road, about a 1-minute delay there. And looks like minor slowing on Washington from 5th Avenue to River Road in Squim, about a minute off the pace there. Heading out west, the Elwha River Bridge, to Port Angeles, a little light congestion and a delay there of a couple of minutes, especially during that work stoppage there, the alternating one-way traffic heading in and out of Port Angeles. And got about a 2-minute slowdown now around Lake Crescent as congestion's picked up there as well with the hot weather. No delays or incidents reported on Highway 112 as of right now. Your weather forecast, as you heard in the news, a heat advisory in effect till 10 tomorrow night. Sunday today, low to mid-80s this afternoon. Clear tonight, lows only getting to the mid-60s overnight, and then sunny and mid-80s again tomorrow. And we start to see things cloud up late on the day. Wednesday, we see some rain rolling in Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday especially. Right now out there, it's pretty warm. We've got 75 in Port Townsend. It's 80 now in Squim, and it's 81 degrees out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles.
ABC Entertainment News.
Creepy kids were able to defeat the Fantastic Four, at least when it comes to the box office this weekend.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only her?
Weapons, a new horror movie from director Zach Kreger about a classroom full of kids that goes missing, scared up about $42.5 million in its opening weekend.
If you're me and I'm you, then who's that? I'm Grandma, sweetheart.
Another debut, Freakier Friday, notched the number 2 slot. The body swap comedy sequel starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan earned $29 million.
The Fantastic Four.
That knocked the previous box office champ, Fantastic Four First Steps, down to number 3. The superhero team collected $15.5 million in its third weekend. And a very happy birthday to the son of Odin. Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is turning 42 today. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
How many times have I told you that sleep is just as important as diet and exercise when it comes to your overall health? Still, so many people stay up late, they have to get up early, they are shortchanging their sleep. You already know how that makes you feel. Foggy, more irritable, craving more junk food. Well, now a new study out of Yale says not getting enough sleep is also associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. They found the volume of a part of the brain called the inferior parietal region shrunk in people with inadequate slow wave and REM sleep. And you know what? That makes sense because it's a part of the brain that synthesizes memory information. So to make sure you're getting enough deep sleep, your 7 to 9 hours need to be not only that long, but also uninterrupted. You can also up the odds of that happening by keeping your room quiet, dark, and cool. Really makes a difference. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check for your wallet first, before hitting the drive-thru.
$6.
Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. As our U.S. economy continues to slowly plod along, people are asking more and more, how can I get ahead in life? I've got one answer to that question you may not have already heard. I'll give you my answer after this important message. Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart. It's been over 20 years now since I started doing my radio programs. How did I get the idea to start it? 2 reasons. First, to remind us all where we've come from and our duty to make our great America even greater. My second reason, some in our nation today are trying hard to rewrite history with lies and half-truths, and that's wrong. Want to hear 70 of my favorite true stories on one CD? Call me now at 817-995-4607 and place your order. or you can go online at www.jerrystewartusa.com. And the cost? Just $19.95 plus $6 shipping and handling, a total of $25.95. Place your order now, and I'll include with it my book, Saving America, at no additional charge. So call now at 817-995-4607 or go online at www.jerrystewartusa.com. Give us a call. Until then, tell the truth. God bless you. As you seek to get ahead in this world, do you find yourself asking for the best way to get ahead? Here's a good one. Write it down. You can't get ahead in life while you are busy also trying to get even. Why? Because a vengeful, get-even spirit is so self-possessed, it affects your attitude. You lack creativity. It's hard to focus. Simply said, you're pretty much good for nothing. And know this, revenge is never so sweet as you imagined it would be. In fact, it's downright bitter. So, want to get ahead in your life? Try going ahead instead of getting even. Think about it. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
You have a neighborhood auto parts store in Sequim ready to help. Such as when you're getting your trailer set up for the season, rely on A1 Auto Parts and Marine to keep your outdoor adventure on the road. Trailer brakes, axles, bearings, even a hydraulic hose fix. A1 Auto will custom make hydraulic hose while you wait. Find the experts at A1 Auto Parts and Marine to help keep your Northwest adventure moving.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, local youth in agriculture. We'll talk about the Pacific Northwest Junior Livestock Auction coming up, and we'll take on the Rainier Mill Site cleanup as it takes center stage. Some community leaders joining us to talk about the project and the final day for public comment to the state about the cleanup.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance. The electric stove, the refrigerator, the vacuum. All advances in technology that had a profound impact on society. But the creation of one specific device brought the world together. And you're listening to it. With the invention of the radio, advertisers soon realized the power of marketing to a mass audience. And one advertiser took advantage of radio's true strength. On Christmas Eve, 1926, the first radio jingle was broadcast. And soon, the struggling Washburn Crosby Company and their little cereal became the most popular brand in America. Since then, advertisers have used jingles and radio to stay at the top of your mind. And you have the chance to do the same. Make that lasting connection with your future customers. Call 457-1450 to find out how affordable radio really is and how easy it is to be a part of it. Radio Pacific, a multi-station radio network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. The historic summit is just days away now. At a news conference, President Trump says he wants to hear Vladimir Putin's ideas for ending the war in Ukraine when they meet this week.
I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect, I'll call him first, and then I'll call them after. And I may say, lots of luck, keep fighting. Or I may say we can make a deal.
The two will meet in Alaska. It does not appear at this time the Ukrainian president will be included in the initial meeting. President Trump placing the Washington, D.C. Police Department under federal control. White House correspondent Greg Clugston has that report.
Concerned about crime and homelessness in the nation's capital, the president signed executive orders giving himself authority to crack down on crime in D.C.
This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
He announced that his administration is taking over the Washington, D.C. Police Department and deploying hundreds of National Guard troops. While crime is a problem in the district, like in many U.S. cities, homicide rates here have been falling since 2023. Greg Clugston, the White House.
An explosion at a U.S. steel plant near Pittsburgh left one dead and dozens injured or trapped under the rubble, with emergency workers on site trying to rescue them. It happened at the Clairton Coke Works in Allegheny County. Texas Republicans reconvening the state legislature in the last hour to vote on redrawing congressional maps. no quorum was reached as Democrats remain AWOL from Austin. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 192 points. The Nasdaq is down 13. More at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Australia will recognize a Palestinian state, a move that aligns with recent signals from leaders in France, Britain, and Canada.
Foreign Minister Penny Wong says Australia couldn't keep waiting for the end of a peace process that's ground to a halt before recognising a Palestinian state.
So last April, our government started a conversation with the Australian people about changing Australia's approach. We made clear we would recognise Palestine when it would best contribute momentum to peace. September is that time.
Wong adds, it's been more than 77 years since the world promised a Palestinian state, knowing that there cannot be lasting peace for both peoples without a two-state solution. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A heat wave has gripped parts of Europe, the extreme heat increasing the risk of wildfires, particularly in regions like Hungary and Bulgaria. The heat wave expected to last all week. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A fender bender in Atlanta. Jason Walker with details.
Delta says one of its planes clipped another aircraft while pushing back from the gate in Atlanta over the weekend. The airline says the wing of the plane reportedly made contact with an empty aircraft. That flight was scheduled to travel from Atlanta to Guatemala City. Passengers were transferred to another plane following a slight delay. No injuries were reported. Jason Walker reporting.
In Memphis, Justin Rose wins the 2025 FedEx St. Jude Championship in a playoff duel with J.J. Spawn. He won his first PGA Tour event since 2023. Scotty Scheffler was a top 5 finisher. And Paramount will become the new home to all Ultimate Fighting Championship events in the U.S. That's under a 7-year agreement with TKO Group. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
John Ortloff from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, August 11th. National Weather Service issuing a heat advisory for the Port Angeles and Sequim area. In fact, most of western Washington, with the hottest weather expected this week. Temperatures climbing today and peaking tomorrow when forecasters expect the highest heat of the season so far for much of the region. Port Angeles and Sequim will reach into the 80s in interior areas. Overnight lows in the low to mid 60s will limit relief after dark, increasing the risk of heat-related illnesses. The advisory warns that people sensitive to heat and those without access to cooling or hydration are most at risk. Officials urging residents to stay hydrated, avoid strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day, and check on your vulnerable neighbors. Now, in addition, low humidity levels dropping down to about 20% will bring elevated fire danger through tomorrow, especially in the mountains. Cooler, more humid weather is forecast to arrive Wednesday and rain rolling in by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A minor earthquake rattled the Sequim area yesterday afternoon. Few residents seemed to notice, though. The U.S. Geological Survey reported the 2.6 magnitude quake striking near River Road about 12:30 p.m. The tremor originated at a depth of about 40 kilometers. So far, just one person had reported feeling the shaking on the USGS's official site. No damage or injuries had been reported. Small quakes of this size common in the region. Now with a look at some other things that happened over the past few days, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
We survived the so far busiest weekend of the summer with well-planned and well-attended fun events countywide. We could use a few more weekends like that because people had the time and energy to make only 3 threats all weekend. All 3 Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. Even fewer harassments. One at 3:15 Friday afternoon along Highway 101 east of what we are not sure. The other harassment 1:15 yesterday morning. Only 3 assaults. It took someone until 7 o'clock Saturday night in the 1900 block of 101 West to get worked up to an assault. Half an hour earlier, someone had requested citizen assistance at a Whiskey Creek Road address. 2.5 hours later, officers were called to that same address regarding the weekend's second assault. That was Saturday night. Officers were also notified of the weekend's third and final assault, Saturday night, on West 18th at 10 p.m. A suicide attempt or threat brought officials to West Front Street, Port Angeles, in downtown Port Angeles, 1:41 p.m. Saturday. Among other duties, fire departments were called to an electric fire at West Washington Squim, a smoke investigation at Clallam Bay, a vehicle fire at Holly Hill Road Squim, and a burn complaint at Forcell Drive and Roll-In Park Drive, 10 o'clock Saturday night. With the weekend's increase in visitor traffic, officers made 47 traffic stops, half on Friday, half on Saturday, and investigated 11 vehicle accidents as of yesterday morning. Among them were crashes at South Owen Drive, Lower Elwha Road, 101 and La Push Road, East 8th, Gassman Road and Lemon Road, and West Washington in Squim. Police conducted more than 31 building checks, frequently a very dangerous activity, and 24 welfare checks. And finally, we had a weekend with no indecent exposure complaints. Unless you count a reported sighting Saturday afternoon, a bit east and south of Squim, of a casual Smokey the Bear without his overalls. Sandy Keys, KONP Local News.
Get ready to believe in the magic of the fair, because the Clallam County Fair is back August 14th through the 17th, and KONP is bringing the buzz. We'll be broadcasting live all weekend long thanks to Wilder Auto, who is providing our sweet broadcast RV. Come find us at the fairgrounds and give a big thank you to our incredible sponsors. Peninsula Bottling, keeping you refreshed. Olympic Game Farm, where the animals are always ready for a selfie. Leets Farm Supply, your hometown farm and feed favorite. And Field Arts and Events Hall, bringing world-class talent to the peninsula. And don't miss your shot to win some awesome prizes. We got 5 VIP feast mode packages to Esquimalt Rib Fest in Victoria. Round trip ferry fare, VIP seating, and all you can eat ribs and drinks included. Or you could win 2 tickets to see the Seahawks versus Colts on December 14th. Plus a kids coloring contest for a family pass to the Olympic Game Farm. Join the fun with KONP August 14th through 17th.
Peninsula Bottling, a presenting sponsor of the KONP Clallam County Fair broadcast, has new goodies in store for you at our broadcast trailer. On Thursday for Kids Day, the first 250 kiddos get a Hogwash Kids Juice. On Friday at 4, 250 people will get to sample a Werner's Mini Sausage Meat Stick. On Saturday at noon, the first 250 can try Pacific Popcorn. And at Open on Sunday, 250 people get a free bag of Community Snacks chips. Thanks again to Peninsula Bottling.
In other news, Olympic Medical Center has a new interim CEO following the resignation of Daryl Wolf. At a meeting Friday, the Board of Commissioners passed a motion to move forward with Mark Gregson to be the new interim chief executive officer. The interim CEO providing some guidance, overseeing OMC's daily operations and advancing the organization's strategic initiatives. For the past 20 years, Gregson has been president of HBL Healthcare in the Phoenix area, which provides interim hospital CEO and consulting services. Hospital officials said in a statement that with the new interim leader in place, the board will begin the process to recruit a new permanent CEO and will encourage both internal and external candidates to apply. They said the interim CEO is a temporary position and Gregson will not be considered for the permanent CEO role. In the same statement, they said that Daryl Wolf will continue in his role as CEO at OMC until an official transition to the new interim takes place. Meantime, Olympic Medical Center says it remains confident it will avoid a cutoff of federal Medicare payments, despite a warning letter from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services citing non-compliance issues. In a statement posted on its Facebook page Friday, OMC said state and federal surveyors continue to be pleased with our response and our progress following their latest review. Hospital officials said they are addressing all remaining, quote, opportunities and details identified by inspectors and, quote, will gladly continue working with the Department of Health and CMS to fine-tune our policies, processes, and charting. The federal letter had set an August 15th deadline for stopping payments if the issues weren't resolved. OMC said it fully anticipates CMS will continue working with the hospital and that services to patients will not be disrupted. Imports through the ports of Seattle and Tacoma fell nearly 26% in the week ending July 25th, prompting warnings from trade leaders about rising costs and supply chain strain. The Northwest Seaport Alliance reported the steep year-over-year decline, with imports also down almost 25% from the prior week. Port of Seattle Commission President Ryan Culkin said fewer inbound shipments reduce options for Washington's exporters and that new tariffs could raise prices by many goods by 20%. And the latest lunar display to light up our sky Saturday night with the sturgeon moon, a full moon named for the large freshwater fish once abundant in the Great Lakes. According to NASA, the full moon occurs when the sun fully illuminates the moon's near side, and this one was also a supermoon, appearing larger as it neared its closest point to Earth. This is Newsradio KONP.
Buying or selling a home? You need a hometown professional. Mike Fuller at Blue Sky Realty offers over 20 years experience and a lifetime knowledge of this area. Mike also provides a free market analysis of your home with critical data you need when buying or selling your home. Call Mike Fuller for your free market analysis. 360-477-9189 or fuller@olepen.com. Blue Sky Realty, your hometown professional.
Hi, this is John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A+ rating with the BBB, safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. We specialize in American-made products, and we carry and sell roofs, windows, siding, and patio covers. At Tri-State Roofing, we've got you covered. For a limited time, save up to 15% off your next project or free gutters. Call 360-208-2222. Financing is available. Please call to schedule an appointment. We're located right here in Sequim, Washington. Call 360-208-2222. Thank you.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, we wear a lot of different hats. We are investigators, analysts, and the protectors of property rights. We seek a high standard of accuracy. Our commitment to exceptional service strengthens our mission. We reduce risk. We stay on top of current issues affecting property rights. We sweat the small stuff to give our customers the peace of mind they deserve. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 78. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 64. Tonight, clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 78 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Wednesday, with daytime highs approaching 66. 63, slight chance of rain. Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 61 Friday, 63 Saturday, and 63 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 79.
Just a heads up, if you're planning on salmon fishing this week in the Port Angeles area, don't. Yeah, the Fish and Wildlife have put an emergency closure to all salmon fishing for the entire week this week in Area 6, which is the eastern strait of Juan de Fuca. They will be reopening with summer and fall Chinook and pink rules only beginning on Saturday. Let's check some sports. What's on the baseball diamonds, among other things, with Robert Workman next.
Baseball Sunday, the Brewers rallied to beat the Mets 7-6 for their 9th consecutive victory. Isaac Collins took closer Edwin Diaz deep in the 9th. That's New York's 7th loss in a row. The Brew Crew are now 73-44 this season. That's 5 games better than the next best record in the majors. Diamondbacks had a franchise record 9 consecutive hits in an 8-run fifth as they rolled over the Rockies 13-6. Colorado has dropped 7 in a row. The Mariners are sailing right along. Their 6-3 win over the Rays, their 7th straight. Cal Raleigh hit his league-leading 45th home run. Astros ripped the Yankees 7-1. Jason Alexander and the Costanzas allowed just 3 hits. Blue Jays hit 3 homers in the last 2 innings to shade the Dodgers 5-4 in a matchup of division leaders. Shohei Ohtani hit his 41st for L.A. Phillies completed their sweep of the Rangers 4-2. Nationals blanked the Giants 8-0. Mackenzie Gore and the Vidals with a combo 3-hitter as the Nats bats roughed up Justin Verlander, who did become the 10th pitcher to reach 3,500 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool milestone and, something that, I really appreciate, what it's taken to get there.
Wins for the A's, Twins, Reds, Tigers, White Sox, Padres, Braves, and Cardinals. Justin Rose made up a 3-stroke deficit over the last 5 holes, then birdied twice in a playoff against U.S. Open champ J.J. Spaun to capture the St. Jude Championship in Memphis, the first stage of golf's FedEx Cup playoffs. The win puts the 45-year-old Englishman back in the world top 10 and secures his spot at next month's Ryder Cup. That's Monday Sport.
Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or first-time buyer, understanding our market is essential. Here to provide a little insight on the local real estate market is May Graves.
Hi, May Graves here, local realtor in Port Angeles and Sequim. So you're thinking about selling and you're wondering, should you replace the roof or the flooring or paint the house before you list or not? Well, that's a great question. And the answer is, it depends. Some of those things will move the needle on how much you sell the house for and how quickly it sells, and some of the things won't really move the needle at all. We definitely don't want you to waste your time or your money, so we want to sit down and consider what the market is doing, how quickly things are selling, what our competition looks like, and if the repair is necessary. If you want more information to discuss these things, call me. It's May Graves, realtor in Sequim and Port Angeles, 360-461-1922.
Bring your kids to the Next Door Gastropub.
We already know that adults have been loving Next Door Gastropub for over 13 years, but the kids love it too.
My favorite thing is the cheeseburger and fries. My favorite thing is grilled cheese and fries. But everything is good.
You'll feel the good vibes the moment you walk in, and your mouth will do a happy dance from the very first bite you take, because
we got the best beef in town.
Bring your kids down to the Next Door Gastropub in downtown Port Angeles.
We're open every day at 11, and we close at 10.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says the company is working to fix the stumbling rollout of ChatGPT-5 amid users' requests to bring back the older version. In a Reddit Ask Me Anything session, Altman admitted to issues with GPT-5 that made it seem dumber, and they are working to correct them. Shares of cannabis-linked companies are rallying on a report that President Trump is considering reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug, giving the sector a much-needed boost. Stock in greenhouse production firm Village Farms surged as much as 42%, its biggest intraday jump since June 2017. And after some confusion, President Trump says imports of gold will not face U.S. tariffs. A White House official suggested last week the administration would issue a new policy clarifying whether gold bars would face import taxes after a U.S. government agency stunned traders by formally ruling the imports would be subject to duties. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
We check the roads next, brought to you by Olympic Medical Center and by Leeds Farm Supply.
When you need surgery, timing is everything. At Olympic Medical Center, our skilled general surgery team is here for you 24 hours a day, ensuring you get the care you need. From planned procedures like hernia repairs to emergencies like appendectomies and even full trauma care, we're ready. Meet our dedicated local team and learn more about our comprehensive services at olympicmedical.org/general surgery.
This month at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Sequim, the deals are bigger than ever. Buy any brand new tractor and get a free implement, up to $1,000 value. Need a trailer? Pick any 2025 or older, and Leeds will pay your tax and licensing fees. Plus, stock up on winter essentials, like Ice Heat Ice Melt for just $10 a bag, or Clean Burn Wood Pellets only $5 each. Don't miss these savings, happening all month long at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Sequim.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go, and that's where Steve's standing by with a check of the noontime roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, busy afternoon. If you're out and about today, you're going to find a lot of traffic right now, both Port Angeles and Sequim. Just pretty busy. It is moving along fairly well, but you expect some delays at the stoplights, especially coming into the Port Angeles area. Our construction area, a lot of traffic going through there right now. That's a little bit of a slowdown. Also around Colonel's Way, they're at top of Morris Creek, a little bit slow going through that section, so just be aware of that. If you're headed beyond the Sequim area right now, Hood Canal Bridge is good to go with no scheduled marine openings. State ferries are doing pretty well. Really not much of a problem getting across the water so far this afternoon. If you're headed out to the west end, a lot of traffic out there as well, especially between Port Angeles and Lake Crescent area. It's fairly busy right now. Do have our construction areas. Those are causing a little bit of a slowdown outside of Port Angeles where they're removing the old Elwha River Bridge. Also out at Wisen Creek area, continuing to work out there. That is causing some slowdowns out there, but other than that, shouldn't be too bad a drive for you. So everybody take care, be safe out there. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Right now, warming up. It is sunny, and in Port Townsend now it is 77. Sequim's got 80. It's 82 out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles. A combination of bananas and Coke brought law enforcement, says ABC's Chuck Severson.
Greek police say they seized nearly 600 pounds of cocaine with an estimated value of $6.5 million and arrested 3 men. The cocaine was hidden inside a container of bananas imported from Ecuador. Police saying that they were tipped off by the British National Crime Agency that the cocaine would be carried by a ship headed for a northern Greek port.
World War II veteran took to the skies again in the P-51 Mustang plane that he piloted more than 8 decades ago. ABC's Allison Cossack reports.
Joseph Peterbers, now 101 years young, earned his pilot wings in 1944. He was assigned to the 55th Squadron, 20th Fighter Group in England, completing 49 combat missions during World War II. He recently went back to England to take a victory lap.
It was actually 80 years to the day that I was shot down.
Peterbers flew 76 combat missions during the Korean War. He retired in 1979.
It's 12:55. Let's get a Consumer Tech Minute next from Kim Commando. Don't forget Kim's full show comes your way Saturday mornings 9 to noon here on KONP.
Remember the days of employee and company loyalty, gold watches, and job security? Well, AT&T just confirmed what everyone under the age of 40 already knew. Company loyalty is dead. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle. In business, you can have better, cheaper, and faster with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Try OCI for free at oracle.com/Kim. AT&T's CEO, John Stankey, sent out a memo last week telling his employees not to expect long-term job protection. Forget getting a promotion just because you've been here a few years. And the option to work from home? No way. Translation, the company is now going to treat you just like you treat it. We're not a family. We're a business. We tried to do the family thing, and you became irritating, disloyal brats. From here on, it's perform or move on. And it's 5 days a week in the office. Don't like it? Good luck with that job search. AT&T stock is up 22%. Start your day with my free newsletter at getkim.com. In business, they say you can have better, cheaper, or faster, but you only get to pick 2. But what if you could have all 3 at the same time? That's exactly what some of the world's most innovative brands and AI tech companies have since they've upgraded to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. OCI is the blazing fast platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs, where you can run any workload in a high availability, consistently high performance environment and spend less than you would with other clouds. So how is it faster? OCI's block storage gives you more operations per second. Cheaper? OCI costs up to 50% less for computing, 70% less for storage, and 8% less for networking. Better, and test after test, OCI customers report lower latency and higher bandwidth versus other clouds. This is the cloud built for AI and all your biggest workloads. Right now, with zero commitment, try OCI for free. Head to oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim.
Coming up, I'll share 3 ways to boost your memory, including how sleeping in a hammock can improve your memory overnight. It's next in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop, because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
So what do these things have in common? Sleeping in a hammock, drawing, and reading out loud. According to neuroscientists, they can all improve your memory. Let's start with the hammock. According to the University of Geneva, the rocking motion of a hammock is ideal for sleeping. In an experiment, the researchers found that those who had slept in a hammock the night before a memory test performed better than those who had slept in a bed. Another memory trick: draw what you want to remember, even if it's only stick figures. The University of Waterloo gave a group of adults, young and old, sets of words to learn and had them try different memory-enhancing methods. What they found was that drawing improved memory more than any other technique. Another way to boost your memory is to read out loud, because we pay more attention to our own voice, so the information becomes more distinct in our long-term memory. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
From the straight to the sound, Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, is celebrating 80 years serving our community. A Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. One person is dead, 10 are hurt after an explosion at a U.S. Steel plant in western Pennsylvania. U.S. Steel says the blast occurred at a coke oven battery at the facility in Clairton. Family members like Trisha Quinn say they aren't getting enough information. Her brother works there.
It's super frustrating. You know, I've one person saying he's deceased, and then you're hopeful, and it's just... It's unanswered. Like, we need to know where our loved ones are right now. What hospital are they stationed at? Are they with us? Are they not with us?
People are being treated at multiple hospitals. In Washington, D.C., President Trump says the Capitol's crime situation is a major problem.
This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country.
But Metropolitan Police data shows that crime is declining in the District of Columbia, but the president's announced a government takeover of the city's police department and deployment of the National Guard for law enforcement. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser called the takeover unsettling and unprecedented, but says she's not totally surprised.
I've said before, and I'll repeat, that I believe that the president's view of D.C. is shaped by his COVID-era experience during his first term.
President Trump also said his meeting with Vladimir Putin Fridays about feeling out the Russian president, but he will tell him the war in Ukraine needs to end.
President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with.
The Trump Justice Department asked a federal judge to unseal grand jury transcripts from the Ghislaine Maxwell criminal investigation. A judge has denied that request, saying the Department of Justice used false reasoning to show why it should happen. And Health Secretary Robert Kennedy at CDC headquarters 3 days after the shooting targeting the building. You're listening to ABC.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? What do you mean? Does it not look good? It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret. No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic. Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous. I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
For the fourth time, the Texas House of Representatives unable to reach a quorum as Democrats left the state to thwart Republican redistricting plans, but those Democrats have lost an avenue of financial support.
The AWOL Democrats are racking up $500 daily fines with their absence and now have at least temporarily lost one source of financial help.
If you haven't given and you want to, you text FIGHT to do.
A judge has ordered former Congressman Beto O'Rourke and his political group, Powered by People, to stop raising money for the wayward Democrats. Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says the fundraisers may amount to bribery. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A former county clerk in Kentucky who was at the center of a landmark case over same-sex marriage has now asked the U.S. Supreme Court to formally overturn the 2015 decision that guaranteed the right to same-sex marriage. ABC's Devin Dwyer covers the court.
A lot of the legal experts I've talked to say there's no chance the Supreme Court will want to wade into this, but you know, the climate that we're in right now, anything can happen. Certainly we are in the midst of a campaign against same-sex marriages across the country. At least 9 states so far have either passed legislation seeking to end those rights or specifically asked the Supreme Court, send resolutions to the Supreme Court asking them to revisit.
It's the fourth day of little or no water for residents in one of New Jersey's largest cities, but officials in Paterson say some relief from a broken water main could arrive by tomorrow. I'm Brian Clark.
Your enjoyment starts now with all the colors of the season at everyone's favorite haven, Airport Garden Center. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operations continue as Betsy and Mark Matthews lovingly run the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service and products for a fun pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. Looking for a special, unique gift? Airport Garden Center is proud to support locally sourced items like Full Moon Candles and Pacific Rain Shadow Farms handcrafted soap and Miss B Apiary Honey. And we love helping you plan each season by offering monthly special savings. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials or just stop on by the store on Edgewood Drive. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate Outstanding Agents. Outstanding results, 457-6600. National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for our area. Temperatures expected to soar into the mid-80s by tomorrow. Peak heat is forecast Tuesday. Interior areas reaching the hottest temperatures of the season. Overnight lows will remain in the 60s, so that's offering little relief. Things cool down by Wednesday, and rain actually coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A 2.6 magnitude earthquake rattled the Sequim area Sunday afternoon. The tremor striking near River Road about 12:30 at a depth of about 40 kilometers. A few residents felt the shaking, but no damage or injuries were reported.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 81. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 64. Daytime highs approaching 78 tomorrow. Bright sunshine expected. Partly cloudy Wednesday with a high of 66. 63, slight chance of rain Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 61 Friday, 63 Saturday, and 63 on Sunday. Once again, high of 81 today, low of 64 tonight, high of 78 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 81.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome to the program. Got lots to cover today. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking a bit about local response to the Rainier Mill site cleanup. That'll be right after we talk first, though, with Zoe Van Gordon, who is in because it's Fair Week, and we'll be doing a lot of things that are related to the fair. Tomorrow, a whole bunch about the fair with the royalty and some other stuff. But today, in the first segment, we're going to talk more specifically about the Pacific Northwest Junior Livestock Auction, which has become quite the tradition at the fair. This is really a great opportunity for some of the 4-H'ers and such as Zoe to auction off things they've raised and kind of get the experience of what it's like to be in the ag business, so to speak. So it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for coming
you
in.
for having me.
We were just talking during the break before we went on. This is 9 years now you've been doing the auction?
Yeah, 9 years, and I've been in 4-H for 12.
All right. So let's first talk about you and what you're going to be having up for auction at the fair.
So I have 2 hogs this year. I actually have 5 in total on the farm. But the 2 that I am selling, one is Beth and the other one is Rip. And I decided to name my hogs after Yellowstone this year.
I was going to say, that sounds familiar. All right. You've been doing hogs mostly your whole time through 4-H, or what has your journey been?
I have only done hogs for the auction.
Okay. How did you get started?
I got started, so my cousin Colby really started it all. He did hogs for the auction, and then Broden took over and started doing them, and then I got into them. So I've been showing since I was about 5.
Yeah. Now, there's a difference between showing and auctioning, too, a bit, right? As you prepare some of these hogs to go to auction?
Yeah. Showing has been a whole nother ballgame because I got into jackpot showing. And so it's...
So what is that? Tell us about jackpot showing. What's
Jackpot showing is... So I have my hog Teeter, and I took her to Oregon this year, and basically it's a bunch of shows. They're not really 4-H shows, but you compete in like fitting and showing and breeding classes, and the kids in Oregon are amazing showmen.
So you got to learn. You learned a lot.
I learned so much, yeah.
Right. So how many hogs do you have going at any given time then? Because you have, as you mentioned, you got 2 of them that you're going to auction, but you've got others you're showing too.
Yeah, so this year mainly I've been showing Teeter and Gator. Gator is my little bottle baby. He's about 190 pounds.
Oh, just a little one.
Yeah, he's little, and he's the sweetest thing.
So tell me about when you do the auction, though. You've done this enough times. I mean, you have some mixed emotions. You've raised these animals, or have you now gotten to the point where you realize this is kind of how it works?
It's how it works, but I'm always a little sad to let them go. It's hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How much do you think you're going to get, or how much do you hope you will get at the auction?
The community we have is really truly amazing. I hope to get at least $3 a pound. That'll break me even on the hogs.
Okay. Because that's the other part of this. I mean, you're kind of, breaking even. You got to go back to how much did it cost you to raise these animals to get them to the auction?
Yeah. I don't know like an exact amount, but it's like a grand or a little bit more to raise the animals.
Where do you get your animals?
This year really expanded on where I got my animals. So Beth came from Toth Family Genetics in Anacortes, Washington, and Rip came from my friend's farm up in where is that? Oak Harbor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got kind of diverse, not just all the same family.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Teeter came from Grandview, Washington, and Gator came from Little Pig Farm in Chehalis.
Fittingly. So tell us a bit about the auction itself. You're just one part of it. There are a whole bunch of 4-H kids that are going to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, we have a lot of 4-H kids. We're selling, some of them are selling cattle, goats, sheep, chickens, turkeys, and rabbits. It's I just blinked. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. We show them out at the fair.
And it's and we should point out noon on Saturdays when this happens. And people, explain for the folks who want to come out, how does this work? You got to register to bid. What do you need to know?
Yeah, so my mom, Jamie, usually sets up a little table around the ring, and she is sitting there with bidder packets and bidder cards, and she'll help you get all signed up.
So let's take you through it, for example, because you're going to be taking Rip out, for example. You're walking him around the arena.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be an auctioneer, essentially, that is going to describe the animal and do all of that. Right?
Yeah, so we will have an auctioneer that will start our bidding. Usually the kids will come out and give a little short speech on them and their animal that they're raising, and then we'll just walk it around and let the bidding begin.
All right. What's that like for you? I mean, you've done this enough now. You're out there kind of wandering around there and you're listening to the bids. I mean, it's really fun and truly amazing to listen to the bids go higher and higher. Yeah. As you mentioned, the community is very supportive.
Yes, they're very supportive.
People come out and I think they may give you a little more than you might have gotten in a true market setting.
Yeah.
Although it is a market. I mean, people are bid there. It gets a little intense. There's some bid wars going on, right?
There are bidding wars, yeah.
You do pay. How many others are doing hogs and such? Do you know in this year's auction?
I think we might have like around 25, maybe.
Okay.
I think we have a little bit more than that.
Is that more or less than usual? Would you say?
I think it's around the same as last year.
All right. And I don't, not to put you on the spot, do you have any clue about other animals roughly? I mean, cows, steer, all of that. What you might expect?
Like the kids out there, or like the numbers of animals?
Numbers of animals, yeah.
Okay. I am not completely sure.
Okay.
We have quite a few turkeys and pens of chickens. There's a few cows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing any other animal?
Honestly, I love raising pigs. I mean, showing lambs is really fun, and I've round robin. I got to show dairy and beef, and that's really fun too. But hogs is the best.
Yeah.
Showing hogs. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so you're a senior this year, right?
I am a senior this year, yeah.
So what's next for you after all of this 4-H stuff gets out of your? I can't say it ever gets out of your blood because your family stays involved forever. But
yeah. I want to find a future where I can still work with animals. That's always been my goal growing up, and so I really want to do large livestock vet.
Good.
And also I'm a bowler, and so I really want to find a school that I can go and bowl at.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but you did anyway, because many people hear me say your name on the radio when it's bowling season.
Yeah.
You had a great season this past year, too. We talked about that.
Yeah, our
earlier,
team had an amazing season.
And how long have you bowled?
Actually, I just started bowling freshman year.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
It's not like all of a sudden you're like state level at this thing. You're a natural, as they say.
Yep, I grew up watching my dad bowl.
Yes, you did. Very good. Okay, so you're excited. The fair is here.
I'm so excited.
What's it like this kind of few days before, especially for someone who's doing animals? We all go and we eat corn dogs and stuff like that. But, this is a big part of the fair is the 4-H stuff.
Yeah.
Showing not only the auction, but showing the animals and all of that.
Well, it's getting my tack box ready, filling up all the shampoos, and conditioning the hogs down so they have a nice shiny coat. Washing the hogs. It's not too stressful, but it is a little bit. Trying to get them out. We check in tomorrow.
Yep.
So that's exciting.
And do you stay out there the whole time? What's your schedule like?
I stay out there in a camper because we have to feed early in the morning and clean stalls.
Yeah. So much work. But you know what?
But
you guys enjoy it. You love it,
worth
don't
it.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So come on out, bid high on Zoe's 2 hogs, right? Rip and Beth. That's right. Beth and Rip. The Yellowstone gang that's going to be there, along with a whole lot of others as part of the Pacific Northwest Junior Livestock Auction. High noon on Saturday at the fair, and it really is a great way to get actually some very great meat if you're going to go that route. And I believe they'll dress it for you too, right? I think that those are options for people if they bid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, anyway, bid Zoe's up really high because she could use the reimbursement for all those hogs she's been raising. All right, Zoe, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, Zoe Van Gordon there. She's just one of many of the 4-H kids that'll be in the Pacific Northwest Junior Livestock Auction at the fair here in Port Angeles, noon on Saturday. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about local response to the Rainier Mill cleanup proposal right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on the Clallam County Fair and its hundreds of dedicated volunteers who make this event so successful. Volunteers are the heart and soul of the fair, managing rodeo, the logging show, western games, draft horse pull, demolition derby, and bringing life to the exhibition barns. Others support community booths, and many provide kindness and care for seniors and disabled folks. You'll have a great time, and you'll bring much joy to the folks attending the fair. To join this community of inspiring people, just contact Parks, Fair, and Facilities Department at 360-417-2291 or email web_fair@clallamcountywa.gov. This volunteer spotlight is sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty.
Hi, this is Port Commissioner Connie Beauvais. The Port of Port Angeles brings you a look inside your port and shares exciting updates and developments designed to attract even more business and jobs to our area. This year, we welcome Citizen Air to our skies, a new aviation company expanding operations at Fairchild International Airport. This marks a fresh chapter in regional air travel, offering private jet ownership opportunities and plans for reliable and affordable scheduled service out of Port Angeles. By committing to our area's future, Citizen Air will help transform how we connect with the world beyond. Partnering with the port, their mission is simple: make flying more accessible and more dependable for all of us. Lift your eyes to the skies. A bright new era is ahead for our community.
This has been your Port of PA Today. Explore portofpa.com.
Now's the time to take control of your land with Bobcat equipment from Brim and Carlsberg. Right now, get a Bobcat zero-turn mower with payments as low as $91 a month. Or power through tough work with a Bobcat compact tractor with payments starting at just $176 a month. Visit Brim and Carlsberg to lock in these limited time offers. Some restrictions apply. Length of contract and rate may vary. Offer ends August 31st, 2025.
All right, we are back. We're going to spend the rest of the hour today talking about the proposal for cleaning up the Rainier Mill site here in Port Angeles. And really the take that I told my guests, I haven't found anybody that's probably not agreed with what they're going to be talking about, and that the Department of Ecology's proposal is not the right one, perhaps, to go. So we're going to be talking a bit with Nathan West, who's city manager. Nathan, we broached this subject last week when we were on, so thanks for coming back again. We'll talk a bit more in depth on that.
We did, Todd, and I look forward to it.
And Randy Johnson, Clallam County Commissioner's here as well, who's been well engaged in this for, well, as long as we all have been. Yeah, 30-some years almost, yeah. And Robbie Mantooth also is joining us, and she's, of course, very involved with this through Friends of Ennis Creek, which is upstream, literally, from all of this. So, Robbie, it's good to see you again. Thanks for stopping in. I guess first we'll just start with, maybe, Nathan, I'll go to you first, because the city hosted a forum, an informational gathering a couple of weeks ago, really based on what the Department of Ecology had proposed. And it was a cleanup proposal that wasn't quite what I think most people were expecting or wanted. So let's just roll back to kind of what we talked about last week into what was laid out on the table. And right now, the Department of Ecology, the important part is that tomorrow's the deadline for people to make comments about this proposal. So that's why we're talking about it. So, Nathan?
Todd, thank you. I think it's really important to talk about why we held that forum on July 22nd. And it really is to take the opportunity to recognize the Model Toxics Control Act at the state level can be a really technical issue to conquer and understand. And we really wanted to make sure, with cooperation from Robbie and others in the community, that we took the opportunity to educate what is this all about, what are the details of MOTCA that we're trying to take a look at here relative to the Rainier site, and how can we possibly navigate through it. And I think what we did was we brought in some experts to really identify what the issues were, what we need to be focused on with our public comments. And I think it comes down to the science of the issue. And the better we can understand that as a community, I think the more we can equip Department of Ecology, the State Department of Ecology, with the information they need to change the answer to the right outcome for this community. And again, the starting point was Department of Ecology recommending Alternative 3, which comes far short of a permanent cleanup for our community. And City Council came out strongly at that meeting in favor of Alternative 5, which is complete removal of the contamination on site. So that's extremely important, and as a city, we've taken the time to invest in a scientific consultant as well as some outside environmental attorney specialties to look at Department of Ecology's proposal, scrutinize it, and come back with a factual basis for why we can do scientifically better for this property and for the community.
All right, so Randy, you as a county commissioner, I mean, have weighed in on this too. This is a cap. The proposal's out there is called a capping proposal, where they would pile everything up in one spot, put a few feet of dirt over the top of it, fence it off, and not touch it.
Yeah, well, as Nathan's kindly said it, and as Robbie would say, this is not really the alternative I think any in our community we're looking at. And let me back up. I really appreciate the city putting forward the expertise that is needed to scientific expertise about, alternatives versus A versus Z, actually Alternative 3 versus Alternative 5. And I want to thank Robbie very much for weighing in with all of us many, many times, and how important Ennis Creek is, because it really is when one looks at the alternatives of what I call city creeks or city rivers or whatever we want to talk about relative to fish. Back to this issue, we, of course, first listened to the Department of Ecology make their presentation. And I had already read this, but when I looked at it and I thought, their own words were, we must clean it up to the highest safety standards called unrestricted land use levels. And I think about that, and then I think about a 10-acre, up to 7-foot cap on a property. How does that meet their own statement about criteria? And I looked at that, and that kind of set me off on top of many other things. And I said, this makes absolutely no sense, as well as the fact that we're almost 30 years beyond when they were going to get cleaned up and on and on. But anyway, so all those things instigated me. And then, thank goodness, again, the city put forward some people that actually had a lot more expertise than certainly I did. And I appreciate that. And you put it all together and say, this makes no sense at all. We, the county, need to come forward with our own letter, which is a little bit different than the others, but I mean, all very similar. I think every letter I've read has almost been exactly the same. This cap makes no sense at all relative to the goals and objectives I think we need for our community. So,
Robbie certainly has been keen to this whole project for a long time, watching what has happened there. So, I guess your reaction, when option 3 was the recommendation, which, as we've pointed out, I was kind of surprised by that. I was pretty much thinking, well, they're going to go with option 5 when I was reading through it.
Yeah, so it's a lot of money, and I certainly appreciate that, and I'm sympathetic to Rainier about it. But I feel like we need in fact, ecology says you need the most permanent possible solution. And I think people just don't feel like they can trust that we have rising sea levels, we have the possibility of tsunamis, earthquakes, animals burrowing in there. Rainier's supposed to monitor it every 5 years. And that just doesn't seem adequate. And I have this vision of this wonderful place, and fortunately it's on this beautiful trail. It could be a beautiful trail. It's beautiful except for where the Rainier site is, that where we could celebrate not only being able to enjoy that, but saying we all came together at a point in time, and probably be, before it's all fixed, long after Jim and I, my husband and I, as co-founders of Friends of Ennis Creek, are long gone, but that we did the right thing for the fish, for the health of the community, and people can celebrate that we sort of like the dams when they came out on the Elwha. We took a lot of pride in that, and Rainier used to take a lot of pride in a cleanup thing that they did. They had to get some hydraulic fuel out of the stream that had gotten in there somehow, and we used to host Stream Fest at our house, or out in our pastures, and the environmental director for Rainier took people on walks to see what they'd done and to actually put a little more meander in the stream, because the thing is constrained, and that washes out salmon and washes out the nests where the salmon lay their eggs and causes all kinds of problems. So they were proud too. And I would like to, we all feel good about what they did for the community, but we need to move on to something different in the 21st century.
Yeah, it's been 30 years, just so you know. We're 2 years shy of that from the time that the mill closed and it was all torn down. And it's a long time. And I think there's a lot of, I'll just speak for the community, and there's a lot of frustration because it's like, is something ever going to happen here, right? And here's where we're at. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of what the proposal looks like. And, there are costs involved with that, but, the pros and cons and the benefits for that, as well as we look at the Rainier Mill site cleanup proposal. Deadline for people to comment on it is tomorrow. You can go, there's plenty, we'll tell you where you can get a look at this through the city's website and other places as well. And we'll continue talking about that with Nathan West, Randy Johnson, Robbie Mantooth right after this. Todd Ortloff now with a word for Olympic Peninsula title. They don't just have customers, they have raving fans. Yeah, for over 40 years, they've been earning the repeat business of their customers by treating them with respect, delivering what they promise, prioritizing the security of customers' funds and information, and always providing service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title and see for yourself why they've earned over 500 five-star reviews, and they've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
Hi everyone, it's Leslie Robertson from the Port Angeles Chamber, and I want to tell you about a great opportunity to support our local area. Would you like to meet people from all over the world? Do you like the chance to brag about this beautiful place we live? The Port Angeles Visitor Center is looking for volunteers to help people seeking advice, information, and recommendations when they come to visit our delightful town. Visitor Center shifts are short, the schedule is easy, and very flexible. Whether you want a regular day or you'd like to fill in as needed, we will make it work for you. Knowledge about the area is a plus, but don't worry, we'll train you. It's a great chance to meet new people, make new friends, and get to know the great group of volunteers we already have working at the Visitor Center. You'll be glad you did. If you're interested, email info@portangeles.org or call the Visitor Center at 360-452-2363. Or you can find more information on our website, portangeles.org.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. One person is dead. Dozens are hurt after an explosion at a U.S. steel plant in western Pennsylvania. Trisha Quinn says her brother worked there and was involved, and she's hearing different stories about his status.
I'm calling every hospital. The steel mill is not giving the families any information. There's no crisis line.
The ATF is on the scene of that explosion in Clairton. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser called President Trump's takeover of the police department unsettling and unprecedented. The president said he's putting the police under federal control and activating the National Guard to reduce crime, even though statistics show crime already declining in Washington. Health Secretary Robert Kennedy's at CDC headquarters in Atlanta 3 days after a shooting targeting the building killed a police officer. And the Texas House of Representatives unable to reach a quorum for the fourth time as Democrats remain out of the state thwarting Republican redistricting. This is ABC.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 81. Winds out of the east 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 64. Daytime highs approaching 78 tomorrow. Bright sunshine expected. Partly cloudy Wednesday with a high of 66. 63, slight chance of rain Thursday. Take a look at the extended forecast. 61 Friday, 63 Saturday, and 63 on Sunday. Once again, high of 81 today, low of 64 tonight, high of 78 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 81.
And we're back with more on our discussion on the Rainier Mill site cleanup proposal. The Department of Ecology, the state, has proposed basically putting a cap on stripping off the top layer of things, putting it in an area, capping it with about 7 feet of dirt, and then monitoring as the proposal that they think would work at the site. However, the folks I have in the studio today, along with I think most members that I've talked to in the community, say maybe that's not the right way to do it, and maybe doing a complete removal of contaminants out of the site off to a landfill is the better way to do it, to get it to where that property could be used for something down the road. So that's it. I'm gonna roll back to Robbie just a bit, because I think out of all of us in the room, you have been most personally engaged in all of this through this as well. So roll back, if you would, to like 1998. The mill closes in 97. They start tearing down the structures, and here we go. Where were things as you saw then? And then take us kind of through the timeline as we've gotten to now.
Well, we've lived with the fish as our neighbors in this creek, and it's more than fish. You know, it's a wonderful conservation corridor that comes all the way from the snowfields of the Olympic National Park to Port Angeles Harbor, and we've lived with them for more than 50 years. We came here in 1972, and I frankly, never paid much attention because I wasn't fishing there. But it's just that you feel kind of responsible for this little part of our planet, and so we wanted people to see this beautiful creek. And we offered walks and so forth to it. And about a couple of years after it closed, we started hosting Streamfest on our place and offering walks through the forest into the stream. And as I say, that Rainier also participated in that and was proud of what they had done, although, it hadn't been all that much. So I just kind of feel like these are my neighbors, and I want to do right by them.
Right. Your thoughts, too, about just the cleanup of that property in general, getting it back to even being able to use it in any sense. I mean, I'm sure there are some things you could do with it under the proposal the DOE has, but I don't see a whole lot of use.
Well, our community has moved on. I remember when people thought it was crazy to have a trail along the waterfront. Mm-hmm. And that is such a popular thing and such a resource for events that brings all kinds of people here from around the world. I just think that we need to look at new ways of using that. And it is really an eyesore. Yeah. But beyond that, it continues. There are these creosote-coated pilings that hold up the old Rainier dock, and they are toxic to fish. And people have known that for a long time. And it's time to get those out of there. And that is part of the, regardless of what happens, that will happen. But it seems like that should have happened a long time ago, as soon as they knew they were toxic to fish. And we know, in my comments, I said it's just a matter of time before someone sues you for somebody getting sick, being exposed to carcinogens for eating the seafood in the harbor. That's not well publicized, but you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's dangerous.
So here we are. I'm going to go back to Nathan and talk just a bit, because the city really took kind of a lead on, we mentioned that they had this forum that you put together, and then actually drafted a pretty lengthy response. I'll say that. And then also has brought in their own experts on this too. So I'm going to just say this part, use-wise. Does the city look at this as some issues too? If it doesn't get fully, remediated, all of that gets out, that property can't really be used for anything?
Absolutely, Todd. That's a major concern, and I think we've been fortunate to have a recent comprehensive plan process where we've gotten community input, and I think the majority of input that we've received says we want a mixture of future uses on that site. And I think with that diversity in mind, it couldn't be more important to look for permanence relative to this cleanup. And by placing a cap in an area where you are in close proximity to the shoreline, and particularly knowing that through the DNR lease, they're going to be rolling back portions of that shoreline, the boundary for that cap is the same boundary as our shoreline jurisdiction. And knowing that we are facing a lot of changes relative to climate change, sea level rise, but overall also expect major restoration of the site on those DNR portions of the property. That cap is not safe or secure where it's currently located is a major point and issue that concerns us. But also the cap comes with requirements of fencing, comes with requirements of an environmental covenant relative to the property. So the second we see a new land use opportunity on that site, we've got to open up this environmental covenant and figure out how we're going to navigate that. And what would be absolutely unacceptable to the community is if we find out we have to go back through an ecology cleanup process in order to make a particular use work. And that is totally not acceptable to us, not acceptable for future land uses. We recognize Rainier currently owns the property and has control of the property, but that may not be the permanent long-term landowner. And so we need to look ahead for future generations and make sure we don't have impediments to future development.
Randy, kind of your thoughts about that too, as looking ahead.
Nathan brought up the very important point. Any future use. If I was a developer, I don't care whether it was for an office building or some kind of mixed use or light manufacturing or whatever, first thing you look at is what kind of impediment might I have? Oh my goodness. So I have a 10-acre, 7-foot cap of noxious materials that why would I want to even think about that as a site? Because before I even begin, I'm now going to have to do something with that cap. So it makes absolutely no sense at all. And the other part that's really important, the Department of Ecology rated number 3 above number 5 based on some very technical details, which numerator, denominator, this one comes out better than this one. If you take some of the information that was provided by their expert, you won't necessarily come out with the same ratio that the Department of Ecology did. At least that's what I did. When I looked at it, I said, well, if I change this, then, well, wait a minute. Number 5 is actually better, which is where we want to go. So it calls a whole bunch of things to question. But again, just from the standpoint of what future use you might have, that's a major impediment. The second part that really bothers me, and I'll go on just for a second, is it says 7 to 10 years to clean up. I've thought about this, and the more I thought about it, if it is really going to take 7 to 10 years, why don't we concentrate around Ennis Creek and all that riparian buffer and estuary and everything else that are so important to all the riparian dependent species we're talking about? Why not take that, even if everything else is our first priority? Nowhere does it say that. And I don't think any of us believe 7 to 10 years at the rate everything else has gone on. So, so there's a relative priority even amongst all the different parts of the project when they go forward. So,
Nathan, certainly cost is figured into this. That was one of the arguments. And, Rainier, or their Edridge that they are now, RAM, is the responsible party in all of this, and part of that plays into it what can be, what's affordable for them to do it. We talked last week, though, that, and Randy just alluded to this, the numbers, at least from your experts, might be a wash. Is that right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I don't know that they're necessarily going to be a wash, but I think the difference is going to be a lot smaller, because ultimately we believe that the costs for alternative 5 have been elevated, and the cost for alternative 3 have been minimized. And I think it's actually quite simple. You don't have to get too scientific to just think about the logic of loading some contaminated soil onto a truck and shipping it out of the community. That is far simpler than actually taking and having an engineered, designed cap that you have to maintain protection of in perpetuity on the shoreline and continuing to monitor for years to come. That's a far more complex scenario. That was not reflected in the Department of Ecology recommended proposal and the work that Rainier did to come up with landing on alternative 3. So I think that's really important that as we provide comments to ecology, everyone think about that logic and think about the simplicity of actually removing the contamination from the site. It could be a far simpler solution at the end of the day.
All right. Do you still posted that on the city's website? Can people go to your site and read what the DOE's got out?
At www.cityofpa.us, you will see the first press release that comes to you will be a press release that incorporates the city's comments, and we have over 10 pages of city comments that really get into the science and the specifics of the issue. We also have a link directly to the Department of Ecology page where you can submit comments, as well as an email to the project manager at Department of Ecology, Marion Abbott. And all of that information can be located right there on our website, as well as the July 22nd presentation that you can listen to.
Randy, just your thoughts on this. How much does this, what it costs figure into what the Department of Ecology is doing, do you feel like?
Obviously, they're mandated to certainly do the analysis, and they've got a basis for doing that. So it's real important. Everything he stated. Now, where they came with their original numbers, I'm not exactly sure. I think they had an outside consultant help them to arrive at that. But as we all know, when you get down to push and shove and doing the actual calculations, you might come up with different kinds of numbers than a consultant would. But obviously, again, they have a methodology they use to rate things. And they actually went through, 5 different proposals, and they ended up with 3 versus 5. And again, they came out the way it did. But like I said, if you actually push and shove, and I think Nathan's right, you can't quite say number 5 is better than number 3, but they're very, very close when you start taking a close look at it, just based on those numbers.
Robbie, certainly you have been, what you were just talking about, a lot of people have been commenting amongst people that you've been involved with as well. Do you think this is going to, sway things? You've been dealing with this, and I know you've done a lot of letter writing with the Department of Ecology over the years as this has gone on and on and on.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's so complex because there is a state law, Model Toxin Cleanup Act. And then there is a federal law that requires that the guilty party has to pay for damages. And actually, the chief fisheries person from the Lower Elwha-Clallam tribe, which has a role in the state cleanup, and the head environmental person for Rainier reached an agreement about what should be done about the natural resources that have been damaged. Well, the problem is, unless you get everything cleaned up, like for example, they paved the salt marsh that was serving as an estuary, which the fish have to have. They paved over it. Some people go, yeah, they paved over paradise, like the Joni Mitchell song. So, and then if you don't clean up everything, then you really don't have a good place to do your restoration. And the fish need that. You've got to be able to do all that. So it's really complicated. And the law the state law says you can use your judgment. And I think they need to do more than just the calculation of numbers.
Right. It's almost too objective in some ways, right?
Yeah, you've got to use good sense. And I think I am so proud of our community. Up until this morning, I had read every comment, and people really put a lot of thought. One of them has like 20 citations and 11 footnotes. People really care, and I'm so proud of them for that.
And I think it has a lot to do with those who've been here a long time, 30 years. I mean, we're kind of tired of this.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen.
Right.
And this is kind of the opportunity, perhaps, to just let's make it do the right thing.
So people are going to have to remember that ecology has to respond to every comment. And we heard this morning from them that they probably will need till the end of the year. Now, our experience has been if they say the end of the year, that might be halfway down into the next year. But anyway, it takes a lot of patience. And I try to remember about the tribes and how they say, we look ahead 7 generations. And we're going to have to be patient.
Your suggestion for somebody, as somebody who's done a lot of letter writing and that sort of thing, if somebody wants to weigh in on this, most of my audience probably doesn't have time to put 27 citations together in time before midnight tomorrow, but
yeah,
what should people say?
You can go to, I don't know if you have the website for the comments, but you can easily find it by looking on the internet. And it's kind of weird because it's a .com. But it's something they subcontracted out to Amazon or something. But anyway, you can find other people's comments, and a lot of people just say, I agree with this, and that's...
So you can just, echo, this is where, it can be as simple as that.
It's not really cheating at all, As a teacher, I never would have allowed that. But you have to... a lot of people who I know could write a lot more have just written a sentence or two.
Right. Nathan, your thoughts about that? I mean, and I know the city even has put out a press release last week encouraging the community to get engaged. It's one of the reasons we're doing this today as well. Obviously, from the city's perspective, you feel like this is important to get a lot of people to comment.
Absolutely. Considering there is a consent decree already with Rainier, between ecology and Rainier, it is extremely important that we use science to drive a difference here and drive a change. And for that reason, it was so important that we push our comments out, there broadly, so that others can latch on to the science that we utilized in their comments, as well as hopefully think more creatively and add additional science and meaningful, as Robbie mentioned, rational thinking and logical outcomes relative to the cleanup of this site. So it's really important that we not just say we want this change because we want the change. We have to document for ecology why that change is necessary and why what has been proposed is the wrong answer.
You alluded to this earlier too, Nathan. That's still Rainier's property. Ultimately, they can just keep it forever if they wanted to. So how does that play into some of this too? Because I think that's a counter argument people may make is like, well, property rights. They can clean it up, but they may never sell it.
I think the property rights question is a really important one, and we've been extremely respectful of Rainier's property rights. That said, it has been far too long that we've been patient relative to this site, and we've seen no tax base on this property for 3 decades now. When do you draw the line and start saying it is in this community's best interest to see something different out there?
All right. City ever an eminent domain or anything like that down the line? I mean, is that something that could ever be considered in that property?
I think there's quite a few alternatives like that the city could explore. I think probably the most likely one that we'll be discussing with council are rezoning options and looking at ways to ensure we're fulfilling the community's wishes on that site relative to the zoning.
But the key is getting it cleaned up because right now you can't do anything with it.
Correct.
Right. All right. Randy, kind of your thoughts as we put this thing full circle just from your perspective on this. Will this be... Is this a swayable option, I guess, is the question with DOE.
I just have to believe it is. With the community weighing in 100%, I believe in one direction. I can't imagine ecology not taking time to listen to every one of these viewpoints, scientific as well as just kind of gut reaction to what this is. And, I as always could be surprised, but I believe they have to listen to all of us. And that's why it's really important to get comments in. If nothing other than this just doesn't make sense, you need to go forward with option 5. And again, I'll just highlight the comments going to ecology are go.ecology.wa.gov, then comment 2270, and that's where to send the comments. So,
all right, and you can find that through the city's website, and Barry said that you probably can even Google that at this point. It's
I think so.
Active that most of it's probably going to show up. Randy, as somebody that has worked kind of in the land use arena in some ways, put your hat on if you're Rainier and this is going on. What
Rainier? Well, First
you can't
of all,
speak for him. I'm not asking you to do that, but just a what if.
Obviously, 100 years ago, I worked for a company called ITT Rainier, although I never had anything to do with this mill site or anything else related to it. But, obviously, first of all, wearing a RIAM hat for a second, I just looked at the financial condition, and I think I've said it before to several people. When you looked at their financial results in 2023, they lost $100 million. In 24, they performed better. They only lost $38 million. So they're probably thinking, I just am guessing this, that gee, we don't have a lot of extra cash flow to take this, and that's a major concern of mine because obviously this is important to us. And we don't want to go another 30 years or even 10 years, right? So that's one issue. Certainly private property rights, it is their property. Alternatives like eminent domain sound great, except that then you're going to assume all the liabilities, and the last thing the city of Port Angeles or the county or anyone else wants to do is assume a $40 million liability or whatever that is. So that's not a real alternative. But I know for future use of almost any variety, with having that cap, would be just a big red flag. Wearing my private industry hat, I'd look at it and say, why do I even want to, it's a beautiful site for innumerable potential uses, but why would I want to invest in that? Please explain that to me, because I wouldn't. Unless Rainier cleans it up.
And almost a non-sellable property in some ways down the road, even if you wanted to sell it 20 years from now. Right?
Exactly.
Cost-wise, because I know we've got to run here in just a bit, but what is the actual figure, Nathan, that was put on for option 3?
So for option 3, I believe that was, I know for sure $37 million for option 5, and it was approximately $13 million less for option 3, 13 to 17 million for less for option 3.
But that's on the paper, and that's not. We've just talked a little bit about those numbers may actually be closer than.
Correct. That's what Ecology presented, and that was also 2019 numbers. So different figures today.
All right, Robbie, your thoughts? As we wrap this up, you in this room have been the one watching this the longest, probably. So.
Well, I think one of the things I wanted to emphasize, we had a conversation with a number of the people from Ecology, and throughout everything that we have done, people have treated each other with great civility. And we talk about the importance of being rational. And I think people have been trying to not get so worked up that they can't. Now, there are some comments that are showing some real righteous indignation, and I think that's fine. But I think whatever we do, we need to respect it, and I think you see that with our conversation here. But I think one of the concerns I've had about a lot of things is that the companies feel like they have to be responsible to their stockholders, and that is right. But there is an element in there that I think needs to, at some point, and if people keep abusing the situation, it'll come sooner, that you got to have some public interest. You cannot, it's wrong to leave things out there that contaminate the fish, that mean that generations in the future can't produce, that all the seafood is damaged. That's not right, and I would think that any legal minds would come around and support that we can't put up with that.
All right, you got till tomorrow to get your comments in. Best thing to do, go to the city's website, and they've got all the links. You can do that as well. Robbie Mantooth, good to see you. Thanks for coming in and for everything you do on Ennis Creek there, and all of the Friends of Ennis Creek work that's happened. Randy Johnson, Clallam County Commissioner, and always great insight as someone who's worked in these arenas too as well. And Nathan West, City Manager at Port Angeles. Thanks again for stopping in.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll check in with the news coming up next.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hi, I'm Terry Barrett.
I am Nick Barrett.
We invite you to join Project Safer's annual one-day event at the Clallam County Fairgrounds on August 14th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Register now and receive free fair entrance tickets for everyone in your group. In Clallam County, Project Safer is working to improve emergency responses for individuals who experience intellectual and developmental disabilities. By sharing personalized information about communication needs and approach preferences, Project Safer helps first responders provide safer, more effective interactions for everyone involved.
This is Police Chief Brian Smith inviting you to join law enforcement and fellow first responders for the annual Project Safer event. Our goal is for law enforcement and first responders to have complete information when encountering community members who've experienced intellectual or developmental disabilities. Come to the Clallam County Fair on Thursday, August 14th and register with Safer.
Register now and receive free fair entrance for everyone in your group. Go to clallamcountywa.gov and search Project Safer.
Hello, this is Katie McCormick with Squim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called Natural Organic Reduction, or terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you would like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
You may have seen on the news, gold and silver are at an all-time high. Ever wonder what your old jewelry and coin collections are worth? Come see me at American Rare Coin and Gold in Squim. We can all use a little extra money, right? Here at American Rare Coin, we love to buy gold and silver and provide you the best prices. American Rare Coin and Gold, 338 West Washington in Squim, or call 360-968-4943. 360-968-4943.
The savings are so big right now at Swain's, you'll have to see them to believe them. Come on in and check out the summer and back to school sale. Grab more savings off the shelves while keeping more dollars in your pocket. The entire stock of men's Wrangler jeans are buy two, get one free. Women's and kids' Under Armour is all 20% off. Can-Cam denim jeans are 25% off, and men's Timberland Pro t-shirts, sweatshirts, pants, and caps are 25% off too. These savings and more, all right now during the summer sale at Swain's.
Stay warm and save big this month at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Squim. Clean burn wood pellets are only $5 a bag, Olympus pellets just $5.50, and home fire logs are just $1 each. Ice heat, ice melt, just $10 a bag, and coarse rock salt is $9 for 50 pounds. And while you're there, grab sprayers starting at just $10 and save 15% on all hydraulic fluid, oil, and Lucas fuel products. It's all happening this month only at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Squim.
News. I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. One person was killed, 10 were injured, and one is unaccounted for after an explosion at a U.S. Steel plant in western Pennsylvania. U.S. Steel's chief manufacturing officer, Scott Bukiso, said,
"Our employees did a great job of making sure that we went in and rescued everybody that was involved, safely shut down all of the gases and utilities."
Officials are promising a full investigation to determine the cause of the explosion. A suspect's been detained after a reported active shooter outside of a Target store in Austin, Texas. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Austin police say 2 victims are dead in the shooting and a suspect has now been detained. It's unclear what led up to the shooting. Early dispatch audio said the suspect got away in a Waymo autonomous vehicle. He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, tan shorts, and a fanny pack. 5 people were reportedly shot in total in the parking lot at the Target store.
President Trump says he's rescuing Washington, D.C. by taking control of the city's police department and deploying the National Guard to fight crime.
D.C.'s mayor insists the city will follow the law, allowing for the emergency takeover of its police force. But Mayor Muriel Bowser says it's simply not needed.
When we think of emergencies, it usually involves surges in crime.
Bowser says D.C. is in the midst of what she calls a huge decrease in crime. The law says the federal takeover can only last for 30 days unless Congress acts to extend it. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Janine Pirro says it's meant to serve as a deterrent.
This is a visual message.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, the White House.
The Texas House of Representatives was unable to reach a quorum for the fourth time as Democrats remain out of the state in order to thwart Republican redistricting plans. Financial markets closed lower. The Dow lost 200 points as investors wait for key inflation data due out this week, beginning with tomorrow's Consumer Price Index. You're listening to ABC News.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now, more news.
President Trump said today his meeting Friday with Vladimir Putin in Alaska is about feeling out the Russian leader, but that he will tell him the war in Ukraine must end.
President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with.
He again discussed the possibility of Ukraine giving up territory as part of a deal to end the war, something Ukraine has rejected. Tropical storm Erin has formed in the eastern Atlantic Ocean. So far, there is no direct threat to the United States, but it's expected to rapidly gain strength and become a hurricane by Wednesday. Erin is the 5th named storm of the season. A relic of the early internet will soon be history.
For Americans of a certain age, the blast from the past has the unmistakable squawk, squelch, and squeal of a dial-up internet connection. The Census Bureau says that at last count, 163,000 American households were still using only dial-up. After more than 4 decades, AOL is discontinuing its dial-up service on September 30th, along with supporting software. Subscribers will still have the option of AOL's friendly announcement. You've got mail. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Ford's going to spend almost $2 billion to refit a Kentucky plant to produce a new kind of electric vehicle that it says will revolutionize the industry. Brian Clark.
With more than 52 years of experience, Permabuilt designs post-frame buildings built to last. From barns and garages to workshops and storage, we create custom structures for any property, residential, farm, or commercial. Our team will work closely with you to match your goals and budget. Call 800-824-9552. That's 800-824-9552 or visit permabuilt.com to start planning today.
Hello, Clallam County. Tri-State's opening their new showroom in Sequim by appointment only, offering roofing, Pella windows, siding, patio covers, and doors. To schedule an appointment, please call 360-208-2222 or visit tristate.pro. Thank you for putting your trust in Tri-State Roofing. We got you covered.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
/careers. We can't wait to see your application.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us, America. Ken Coleman Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and host of the brand new runaway hit on the Ramsey Networks. It's called Front Row Seat, where he does long-form interviews with all kinds of famous and big people that are giving you insights into success. It's really, really good. Ken, who's dropping this week?
Of course you asked me, and I don't even know who's dropping tomorrow.
Okay.
I want to say it might be Rachel Cruz. She's in the hopper. That was a fun conversation.
Gary
Sinise is already out.
That already came out.
Yeah. And
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, and we have Ethan Cross has been out for a week. It's doing very well. Ethan is a professor and a 2-time best-selling author on Pivot, and it's all about mindset. And so this is all about emotion in the professional setting, in your personal life. How do we shift our mental mindset to win? So it's pretty deep stuff.
I can't say the word pivot anymore after COVID. I get PTSD.
Actually, I said that wrong. The name of his book is Shift.
Oh, that's much better. That's a good book. Okay, now I know the book.
It's a runaway bestseller called Shift.
It's huge. It's a great book. I didn't know what you're talking about.
Well, I used the wrong word.
What was the other COVID word we can't say anymore? Oh, unprecedented. Oh my God.
And you're right. That was ruined in about 3 days.
Yeah, I'm just over both of those words for the rest of my life. All right, Pamela is in Alabama. Hi, Pamela. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show today.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, well, this question is a mix of financial and family issues, maybe words of caution for your listeners, Mr. Ramsey. We recently changed our financial advisor. I was with him for 40 years, and my husband moved his money over there 13 years ago, a second marriage, and we both retired, myself as recently as 2023. My advisor was my brother. I come from a larger family of 7. There seem to be a lot of unspoken rules. Use your sister as your insurance agent, your brothers as your financial advisor, your other siblings for such and such. And I have to admit, I was on autopilot, Miss Ramsey, for about 40 years, finishing college, marriage, kids, growing a career, getting divorced, remarried, life. I simply handed my brother money over time and occasionally looked in on my investments. I do want to be clear, he did no harm. However, he did nothing special either. And now that I'm retired and I've been studying in depth about retirement planning, I think I've got a great deal of ground to make up around tax planning. Things like Roth conversions, I got hammered on deferred compensation plans, things like that. He never had those conversations with us. So before I retired, my husband and I requested of him multiple times of a retirement plan, and it just felt like it fell on deaf ears. Even tax planning. And then our net worth increased more. Our last parent died. And I don't know how to say this, I wanted some privacy in what our financial position was. So we did 8 months of really hard work and research, and we jumped ship. We hired an advisor that's meeting and exceeding all of our needs, and we feel relieved and confident every day where we're going. I mean, financially, tax planning, charitable plans, legacy. This was not an easy thing for us to do.
Oh, it's very painful.
So here's my question.
Very painful.
I'm sorry.
But very painful, but very wise.
So here's my question. Telling my brother the news went horribly, disastrous. He didn't want to hear our reasons. He heaped a flurry of F-bombs on us. He announced I was dead to him, other unpleasantries. Even his wife and one of my siblings piled it on. I mean, I was beyond shocked. And when we hung up the phone, because we live in different states, my husband looked at me and said, I guess we made the right decision. And I said, I guess our money really wasn't our money. And it's been almost a year and virtually no communication from nearly any of my siblings. And I know I have had to turn down at least one family event because I was concerned I might get attacked there. So, question, is there reconciliation here? I mean, our financial life is our lifeline, and we have to do what was right for us. But I hate this family rift and fracture. Wow. What have you seen in all of your journeys in life?
Wow. I'm sorry. That's so painful.
Yeah.
Well, you did, obviously, your husband's right, made the right decision, and this all confirms it. Reconciliation, it sounds to me like, is up to him. I don't think that ball's on your side of the net.
Okay.
He's the one that said you're dead to me. He's the one that sicked his wife and the sibling on you and those kinds of things. And so, I do a couple things. I just sit back and let it cool. You might consider writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting a letter before you send it. I don't think that boundaryless people that don't respect boundaries, will ever accept a reason for the boundary. In other words, there's no amount of logic that's going to make him okay. This is not a logic scenario. This is just, hey, listen, I know you don't, it might sound something like this. I know you don't understand what we did. I wish I could have explained it better. I'm sorry for that. Our goal was not to hurt you. Our goal was to get some privacy and to get a new set of eyes. And we've done that, but we're very sorry we hurt you in the process. That was not something we wanted.